Yeah, I'm terrified of what they're doing. I think even though we were promised no digital ID, I think that's going to move forward. They are building a control grid, and I mean, we're walking into a very, very scary situation.
Hey friends, God bless you. Thanks so much for finding us. That was my new friend Elliot, the founder of Masculine Man, and I've got a bombshell update that I missed in my last interview about the AI data centers and their direct tie to the US military. And please stay tuned for my BOOMER biopsy, and then it's off to the races with Elliot regarding aluminum-free deodorant. Yes, deodorant. Stay tuned, we've got a good show for you. Before we start, just a quick word. Everything comes down to the supply chain, and right now there's a critical gap that Washington is spending billions to close. Every jet, every tank, and almost every piece of munition in some way contains something the U.S. hasn't mined in nearly a decade. The Pentagon has spent close to $10 million to restart domestic tungsten production, and Trump signed Project Vault, a $12 billion critical minerals stockpile plan aimed at breaking foreign dominance and reshaping the mining sector. An additional $30 billion was announced at the Critical Minerals Ministerial to accelerate domestic production and secure strategic supply chains. America needs its own tungsten. That's where Vault Strategic Mining comes into play, trading under NOx, K-N-O-X in Canada and K-N-X-F-F in the US. They're building what could be the most strategic tungsten project portfolio across the US. And with tungsten priced at near record highs, they're in the right place at the right time. Their flagship project is in Nevada. That's why districts like the Great Basin are starting to attract serious attention. A region the USGS estimates could host around 168,000 tons of tungsten oxide in the ground. And at today's prices, that equates to a potential in situ value of roughly 30 to 50 billion US. And Vault is positioned right in the middle of it. If you want to learn more about this tungsten story and a team that has delivered big results in the past, check out the link in the description. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking play. I'm so glad you found me over on Rumble, which you're looking at on my screen right now, or BitChute, or at sgtreport.com, which is now live again. My thanks to my dedicated webmaster, Eric. God bless you, Eric. Thank you so much. As you guys know, there was a cPanel glitch, an exploit that was used by hackers, probably CIA or Mossad adjacent, that took down thousands and thousands of websites, including SGT Report, thephaser.com, and thelibertymill.com, but all three sites are back up and running. Again, thank you for your support, friends. What you're looking at on my screen right here is our friend Hope Girl Blog over on Rumble. She's got an update on AI data centers, digital twins, and the financial control grid. It's a must-watch, and I posted it today on my site, thephaser.com. More on AI data centers in just 1 second. But where I'd like to start before I bring on my guest, who undoubtedly will comment on fasting and the health benefits of fasting, friends, I began my 72-hour fast on Saturday night at 8:30 p.m., and I'm feeling pretty good, not even hungry. My goal is to make it to 72 hours. Now, why would anybody restrict food intake for 72 hours? I want to give you this 90-second reminder, guys, and then we're going to jump into the show.
Let's talk about the 7 fasting stages. Whether you're doing intermittent fasting or prolonged fast, I'm going to walk you through every benefit you get at each hour of the fast. Stage 1, at time 0 to 12 hours. Basically what's going on here is your insulin is going to peak and your digestion is still occurring. Stage 2, at 12 to 18 hours, the benefits are fat burning starts to kick in. This is why intermittent fasting is a great tool. Stage 3, this happens at 18 to 24 hours. What happens here is you hit ketosis. This is where your body starts using fat as a fuel source. Stage 4, this happens at 24 to 48 hours. What happens here is you hit something called autophagy. It's a process your body uses to kill off old and dead cells, give your body a sense of renewal. Stage 5, this happens at 48 to 54 hours. What happens here is your HGH starts to spike and your inflammation starts to drop dramatically. Stage 6, this happens at 54 to 72 hours. Your insulin sensitivity starts to get better, meaning if you have high insulin resistance right now, this is where you're going to want to hang out. On top of this, your autophagy and your HGH is also peaking in this time zone. And the last stage is anything past 72 hours, which currently There's no well-known research past this point on how much the benefits continue to spike. But after this, what does tend to happen is stem cells and immune cells start to reform and boost.
Friends, let me pause it there. And a big update here on the AI data centers in just one second. But let me just say, fasting, folks, you kill off all of those old dead cells and you renew your new ones with the stem cells. And what I'm really shooting for is the autophagy to reduce inflammation. As you all know, I suffer with knee pain. But here's other good news. If you've been diagnosed with that boogeyman they call cancer, friends, it's no longer a death sentence. I think between fasting, changing your diet, and talking to Dr. William Makis about ivermectin and fenbendazole, cancer no longer needs to be a death sentence. And I wanted to share that in the public interest because I value each and every one of you so very much. I want to bring on my guest. Elliot is the founder of Masculine Man, and we're going to get into that because we need a lot more masculine men in this country. Elliot, welcome. How are you?
Sean, thanks so much for having me.
Hey, brother, thanks for coming on. Just a little bit about Elliot, and then we're going to get to the AI data center update, and I've got a bombshell to play. It was in the video I posted last night, guys. Data Center Doomsday, and I missed it until I played it back last night. I'll share that in just one second. But Elliot reached out to me and informed me that he's got these remarkable aluminum-free deodorant products that I have since tried. And I'll give you my own testimonial in just one second. But Elliot, your thoughts on fasting and anything else I said, ivermectin, fenbendazole, it seems like there's a sea change in the healthcare space, and boy, do I welcome it.
Absolutely. So when it comes to fasting, I do intermittent fasting almost every single day. I typically stop eating at about 8 p.m. I try my best to not eat until 11 o'clock the next morning. I personally have not gone beyond that, but my father, who started fasting when he was 65, he's currently 69, has fasted a handful of times and done the 72-hour fast that you were talking about. And he always feels really rejuvenated after he finishes it. He's not hungry during it. But he's looking for all those different benefits that report that you played mentioned. And all of that aligns with what he was telling me that he feels through actually going through that process itself. And if I was to look at it, like what is the benefit that I'm looking at the most? It's going to be elimination of cancer and those potential cancer cells inside of my body. And how do I eliminate that? And then you also mentioned ivermectin and fenbendazole, and I started learning more about that going through the COVID process, and then listening to everybody, Malone and everybody else that talks about that stuff. And then there was that Mel Gibson interview where he talked about a handful of his friends that had cancer, stage 4, did ivermectin, did fenbendazole, and they're cancer free now. Which it just seems like they've known and they've been hiding this from us the entire time.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more. Not only did they know, the CIA even knew some 40, 50 years ago that there were, let's call them cures. Do I dare call it cures, guys? FDA, can I call it a cure? Better not. There were remedies or treatments for cancer, alternative treatments that were covered up. And let me just add to the conversation when it comes to fasting, guys, the science is very clear in studies with mice, Ristar rats, etc. Mice kept on a calorie restricted diet, opposed to the mice that could eat whatever they wanted whenever they wanted. The calorie restricted mice lived far longer than the mice that could eat anything and had far fewer instances of cancer and other disease. So I think it's an idea whose time has come. The one thing I would add to the conversation, if you're going to fast, get purified water, drink it as often and as much as you want, and put some electrolytes in it to keep things running smoothly. Please comment below if you fasted or if you have any further advice on fasting. Now, what I want to do, Elliot, is I want to share an update. I posted this to my websites, Rumble, BitChute, etc. Last night, as we're having this conversation, that would have been May 17th, Data Center Doomsday with Matt Long, and there was a bombshell in my own interview in a clip I played with Matt, and I didn't even catch it until I was doing playback last night. I want you guys to listen very carefully to this as we all lament Kevin O'Leary's push to put that 60 square mile data center in Utah, which nobody wants, and the three commissioners voted for it against the will of the people. And one of the hooks that we've discovered in my interview with Matt is that the powers that ought not be that want these data centers, they're bypassing state governments and local governments, and they're getting these things approved through the county. And in the county, you only need, in the case of Utah, 3 county commissioners to vote your way. Now, here's the bombshell that I absolutely missed.
O'Leary was able to get the project approved unanimously through an obscure state agency known as the Military Installation Development Authority, as well as the Box Elder County Commission. Both of
Okay, so there's the Box Elder County Commission. 3 commissioners approved this monstrosity that nobody wants, but did you catch it? The Military Installation Authority. Friends, it is now absolutely rock solid and bulletproof. The fact is, the military is behind these data centers, and they're not actually AI data centers. These are going to be track and trace Chinese style surveillance centers. That's my opinion, but I'm going to be bringing on guests that will vet that out with quantifiable facts. You know, I totally missed that one, Elliot. The Military Installation Authority in the state of Utah is why this thing is being fast-tracked. I don't think that's for we the people.
Absolutely not.
It reminds me a lot, Elliot, of Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah, absolutely. They're pushing everything through. There's nobody or no care for what the average citizen is looking at. And this is all about, doing what is necessary for them to continue to push their agenda forward.
100%. And let me just share this with folks, too, before we get into the brass tacks here. I've been going head to head, toe to toe with so many of these Ziocucks that are over on X that want Thomas Massie out for some reason. Now, why would that be when his Liberty scorecard is almost perfect? But Trump's factions are calling him a rhino. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham, whose voting score is an absolute F, is still MAGA. Guys, the question is, what is MAGA at this point? I didn't change. You didn't change. MAGA changed. And what I want to do real quickly is just mention, I want to do a boomer biopsy because we have friends and we like them very much. But in that final meal I had the other night, we had dinner with our friends and they're boomers and they're all on board with Team Trump. No matter what happens, folks, these folks are all on board. They still love Erika Kirk. Literally, I asked, well, what are your thoughts on Erika Kirk? Oh, we don't think there's anything nefarious with Erika Kirk. We like Erika Kirk. She's been dragged through the mud. And I asked about Thomas Massie, and they're all on board. It's basically whatever Trump says that then gets parroted by Fox News or CNN, they're on board with, folks. And you know what I've come to conclude, too? Elliot, I'm coming back to you. I've sort of come to conclude that one of the reasons they're on board with everything Team Trump is because they don't seek out alternative news media, number one. Number 2, they listen to Fox News or CNN. And number 3, they already have their Social Security money coming in. They already have their Medicare, which is free health care. So everybody 65 and older gets these benefits that none of the rest of the population gets. And let me show you guys this. Polling data is so abundantly clear. The boomers, 65 and older, 61% of them support the candidate opposing Thomas Massie. While if you look at the other demographic age ranges, pretty much everyone else supports Thomas Massie. So that's my boomer biopsy, and I think it's a real shame, Elliot. Your thoughts?
I completely agree with your assessment. I feel like just like Trump himself, he watches the news for whatever reason. He still pays attention to what CNN says when, they go out there and say 100% of MAGA supports the war. Well, I voted for Trump every time he ran. I don't support this war. I don't support what he's doing with the candidates and the way that he speaks to Massey and puts him down, what he did to MTG, the people that helped get him or elected. He is doing a major disservice to his own party. And the people that you're talking about, the boomers, they just go along with either what he's saying or they're going along with the news media that they're getting their information to. Because once again, like CNN viewers, they are all brainwashed. They listen to this. Lindsey Graham gets on the radio, or Lindsey Graham gets on Fox News, talks about, going to war, and somehow he sells the message and everybody agrees with it. Whereas with the alternative media, everybody has different opinions that are all leaning toward moving away from war, moving away from dependency on Israel, and just doing everything that he promised that he wasn't going to do. And people are getting upset in all the younger generations because we feel like we were sold the bill of goods. I'm 42 years old. I have friends that are in their 40s. I have friends that are in their late 30s, mid 30s. They're all feeling the exact same way that I do. We feel like we were sold the bill of goods, and he needs to start following through or he's going to lose the midterms. And it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, it absolutely looks like it's going to be. And it's because, in my opinion, Trump betrayed his base. Okay, because prior to this, guys, Tucker Carlson, who helped him get elected, Alex Jones, who helped him, Candace Owens, who helped him get elected, Marjorie Taylor Greene helped him get elected. And now Trump has turned on all of those people. He despises all of those people. And he's literally supporting and campaigning for rhinos, including this guy, Ed the Zionist, in the great state of Kentucky. So I got to tell you, folks, it feels to me like the boomers have become, at least in part, I can't speak for all of them. There's certainly good ones that are informed, but the boomers in mass, if you look at that poll, have become somewhat morally bankrupt. And, they got their Social Security and they got their free Medicare and they got their free health care, and they want to make sure they keep it. Meanwhile, the rest of us, we're scrapping and scraping to pay our bills. Sorry for the quick break. By the time the news tells you to buy gold, it's too late. You're waiting. I get it. Everybody's waiting. Waiting to see if the ceasefire holds, waiting to see if the Strait of Hormuz reopens, waiting to see what happens next. But gold isn't waiting for you. It moves on fear, on instability, on debt, on the unknown, and it moves faster than you can react. So while you're waiting for certainty, the rest of the world is planning for what comes next. You can wait, or you can prepare. You can't do both. Remember, the best time to put on a seatbelt is before the accident, not after. Reach out to Noble Gold Investments. They help Americans protect their savings with physical gold and physical silver shipped to your door or held in a tax-advantaged IRA. No taxes and no penalties on rolling over a 401k or existing IRA. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com for your free investor kit right now. 5 minutes today could protect decades of savings. Choose noblegoldinvestments.com. Don't be the one still waiting. The link is below. We're scrapping and scraping to pay our bills. So what I want to do is I want to turn our attention to masculine man, and I'll tell you why, guys. I'm always trying to find healthful ways to improve my situation and live longer. We all are. And so many of us now use only aluminum-free deodorant because that's smart. You don't want the aluminum that you put under your arm getting into your bloodstream because it causes all sorts of neurological and health problems. So took me a long time to figure that out. So I have been buying the aluminum-free deodorant from Target, wherever. And the one I've been using is Everyman Jack, but there's others out there like Squatch and Native. But Elliot reached out and said, look, I like your show. I'd love to come on. Can I send you a sample of Masculine Man? I said, absolutely. So he sent me the 4-pack, and it's extraordinary. Unlike Everyman Jack that I've been using, if you do the sniff test, you're going to find you still smell good the next morning. And for anybody who's used these aluminum-free deodorants, they really don't hold up to the smell test as good as the aluminum products. So with that said, where do you want to begin this part of the conversation? Should we talk about your ingredients versus the competitor ingredients? And by the way, how did you even get started in this arena, Elliot?
I think why did we get started? Why did the product get created? Is a good place to start, and then we could talk about the ingredients. Which you touched on the aluminum factor, but there's other factors that we want to make sure that we touch on why it was created a certain way. Um, when it comes to actually the creation of the deodorant itself, so we'll go back about 2.5 years. Um, my son is 16 and a half. At the time, he was 14 and a half. And we started looking at all the different ingredients that are not only just in deodorants, but your shampoos, your conditioners, your food. When you're realizing and having your Neo Matrix moment of um, how they've been poisoning us. Okay. And so my son and I, we work out 5, 6 days a week. He's very athletic. He does boxing. I go to the gym just about every single day. We live in Arizona. It's really hot out here, all that stuff. And so we decided, okay, we're going to move to a natural deodorant that we actually understand the ingredients, what we're putting in our body, and getting rid of the toxic aluminum that they put inside of these deodorants. And every single product that we tried, we were extremely disappointed with. The biggest thing that we were disappointed with, Sean, was the longevity of the product itself. Most natural deodorants don't last more than a few hours. So you're trying to do something healthier. You're going out of your way to make a better decision for you and your family. But the problem is that the product itself doesn't last. And so you have two choices. You can, one, stick with that product and reapply that deodorant every 3, 4 hours, depending on you and your body and how much you sweat. Number two is in 3 or 4 hours, when that wears off, you start heavily smelling like body odor, which is, a major problem. And I guess option number three is go back to the toxic, formula that you were previously using that had the aluminum in it and that was clogging your pores and doing all kinds of harms to your neurological system, lowering your testosterone level, contributing to early onset Alzheimer's, dementia, et cetera, et cetera. And so through sheer frustration, I said, you know what? There got to be a better way, and I'm going to do it. And so I hired a chemist, and I spent a year formulating masculine man deodorant, um, where it lasts the entire day and beyond. We went through 53 different versions. It took over 12 months. And yeah, you put this stuff on in the morning and you're going to smell incredible the entire day. One other thing to touch on, I don't want to smell like a tree. I don't want to smell like grass. Most of the natural deodorants have a very hippie smell. They are not overly masculine. They just kind of smell like the outdoors or patchouli, things like that. All of my fragrances are reverse engineered from different high end men's colognes. So they smell fantastic the entire day and they keep you smelling great through a product that actually has the longevity. When it comes to the actual ingredients itself, our main ingredient is going to be coconut oil, and that hydrates your skin while also fighting over odor. We have jojoba oil, which is a skin conditioning, and it doesn't have a greasy feel to it. Our product goes on smooth. Vitamin E is going to help protect your skin. Um, the baking soda that's in it is going to be an powerful odor defense, to keep you from overly sweating. And then the radish root is really interesting. That's a probiotic, and it acts as a natural freshness for the deodorant itself, and everything put together really just it creates the product that I just mentioned to you.
Well, it's a good product, and I've been using it for several weeks, and I really like it. So, that's why I was willing
Thank
to
you.
bring you on. Well, absolutely, because as I said, and by the way, it's very price competitive. We should talk about that. It's very price competitive because those deodorants I mentioned are usually between $9 and $14, even at
Right.
Target or Walmart. And if
Yep.
you buy the 2-pack or the 4-pack, you're going to be in that same ballpark. And if you use coupon code SGT, you'll save 10%. And by the way, where's the feminine women deodorant?
So we get tons of requests from women to create a women's line because they do steal the deodorant from their husbands, and they would like to have, women's fragrances. So we're eventually going to be working on that. But right now, it is just about focusing on the men's line and building that out. You talked about price competitiveness. We're right there with Dr. Squatch, Mando, Native, the other products that are on the market. The more that you buy, the more that you save. Obviously, please use code SGT to save an extra 10% off. You could build your own bundle. We sell them as 2-packs. If you just want to pick up 2 of the same, we sell a 4-pack that has 1 of each fragrance, which is extremely popular for the first person that or the first time that you're using our product to figure out what scent or what 2 scents that you like the most. We offer subscribe and save for an additional discount on top of the SGT code. So you can, set it and forget it, not have to worry about it. And then you can make modifications to whatever you want at any time, cancel anytime, pause it anytime. And so we just make it really flexible to provide a great product, that actually works for our customers.
Well, and let me add to the conversation the different scents. You got
Yeah.
Rocket Man, Invigorate, and Freedom, and then maybe the musky one is Bootlegger Bourbon. They're all sitting in my bathroom right now, but I like the brighter smelling ones. I like the real fresh scent ones, and those would be perfect for a woman. I mean, this is really about packaging, right? There's no reason a woman couldn't use these products.
Absolutely. And like I said, we get emails almost every single day about women using our product and asking us because it's the product itself is really good for sensitive skin while also providing the longevity that everybody is looking for.
Yeah. Okay. And again, guys, time and time again, what I'm trying to do now is in addition to bringing you the real news, I want to bring you great products occasionally that I'm using myself as opposed to watching Fox News or CNN or the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, brought to you by Humira, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Big Pharma. Okay, we already know that this country, I think we've been sold out, frankly. It's a corporatocracy. Everybody awake knows that. But what I wanted to point out, given the price competitiveness of this product, is that that is absolutely true. And I'll bet that out. A 4-pack for $54.99. Now, if you added a 2-pack for $27.99 for your wife, then you use code SGT, you save 10%. I think that would still qualify them for the free shipping, right? Free shipping over $75, Elliot.
You got it.
Well, then you can't beat that. You guys can do the math on that and then run to Target and take a look at what they have and then do your own comparison.
Yeah.
Ingredients, I want to circle back to that because without naming any of these others, as I said, I've been using up until now Everyman Jack, but there are others
Yeah.
on the market. Without naming any of those specifically, we're not trying to hurt those brands, but are there
Sure.
ingredients in those aluminum-free deodorants that you would recommend people do avoid, like parabens or anything else?
Well, parabens are really unhealthy. I don't know the specifics of what every company is using in their ingredients to make the base or, that they use to put everything together. When I was going through the process of trying all the different deodorants, it really was about finding something that not only was healthy, but also that acted and lasted the way that it was supposed to last. And like I said, I was extremely disappointed, and my son was extremely disappointed from all the different products that we tried. So I don't know the ingredients for each one of them. It was just testing it, using it, living a normal life, and then going, yeah, like this doesn't work for me.
No, I know. Absolutely. My wife and I say the same thing. My wife's on the aluminum-free deodorant kick now too, and she goes, this doesn't work as good as the other stuff. And I said, I realize that, but you also aren't getting the aluminum in your bloodstream, so worth it. But as I told you guys, my testimonial is this. I put on the deodorant, and guess what? The next day, I still smell fresh. back to the matter, do the smell test yourself. We're going to look at the website one more time, and then I want to share one last thing about AI data centers. Elliot sent me the all four premium deodorants, the 4-pack box, and that's
Yep.
the one I'd recommend. And by the way, I barely scratched the surface on the first one. I mean, how long do these last? Because either I'm not putting on enough, but it's working. I think I might get 6 months out of this pack or more.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we did is I'm all about providing more value to my customers. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is providing 20% more deodorant than you're going to get in each stick than our competitors. So we provide 3.2 ounces, and our competitors are typically 2.4 to 2.65.
Let
Yeah.
me jump in and just say, okay, I didn't realize that, but honestly,
Yep.
what I just said is true. A little of this product goes a long way, and you're right. They are bigger. I didn't measure them compared to, I didn't know 3.2 versus 2.4, but you're getting your money's worth with this product. These are large, they're big.
Yeah. They're big. They are fully filled. Um, but there's two factors about more product that I just like pointing out. One, we're giving you more product. Number two, you are not reapplying your product during the day. And that's what most people are telling us that contributes to the longevity because it just lasts all day, and so you're not burning through the deodorant. And deodorant these days, it's not cheap, and so you want a product that's actually going to function, you know and give you the money, or the bang for your buck that you're actually paying for, and our product does that.
Well, that's my opinion on it, and that's why I wanted to get you on. You reached out, we talked on the phone, you sent me the product. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Sure. I'd love to bring you on because I want to pay it forward to decent people who are making great products for people that are healthful. Guys, masculine man deodorant, be awesome. Don't stink. Hands down, the best deodorant I've ever used. That's the testimonial on the website, and I can back that up. The link is below. Before we part ways, I do want to just mention this regarding AI data centers. A Utah physics professor just compared the proposed Utah Stratos AI data center to 23 nuclear bombs a day, and the math actually checks out. Now, that may seem hard to believe, guys, but the claims are that new data center that nobody wants in Utah, that'll cover some 60 square miles with multiple buildings, will somehow be the equivalent of setting off 23 nuclear bombs per day, Professor finds. Stratos campus, 16 to 17 gigawatts thermal load. I don't know what this number is. 1488 TJ per day released into the atmosphere. Hiroshima equaled 63 TJ. That's 23 bombs per day of heat. Guys, what are they doing with these data centers? We've gotten through human history and American history up to this point without them, but now suddenly they want 5,000 of them across the country when there's, I think, only 400 or 500 in China, which is already a dystopic communist nation. Guys, what is really going on here? I promise in the future we are going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get to the bottom of this because one thing I know for sure is this is not pro-American, and I don't think it's pro-humanity. I think it's a very dystopic future we're looking at, Elliot. Do you have any comments on that before we part ways?
Yeah, I'm terrified of what they're doing. I think even though we were promised no digital ID, I think that's going to move forward. I know from just following all the data centers that are going up, how they are significantly affecting all the residents that are living near the facilities. They're running out of water. Their electric bills are significantly going up. People are struggling as it is in a very bad way. Most people aren't making their credit card bills, or they're barely surviving, or they could barely pay for food. And now these data centers are just coming in and being able to get whatever they want, and it doesn't matter from the city standpoint about the average citizen. And these data centers, they don't even employ a lot of people. It's all about how they're going to do mass surveillance, how they're going to be able to track everybody from the stuff that they're putting in our cars to the stuff that they're doing to our house and the tracking on our cell phones. And they are building a control grid. And I mean, we're walking into a very, very scary situation.
Yeah, I think everybody paying attention who just wants to see sort of the fictional storyline of where we're headed, check out that old Netflix series called Black Mirror, because some of this stuff is so dystopic, guys, it didn't even seem possible just 5 years ago. But here we are, and 3 commissioners in Utah fast-tracked it. They said yes, even though there was a gymnasium of concerned citizens who said no. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a free nation to me. Just my 2 cents. Elliot, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate it. Loved being on the show with you.
Well, thank you. And guys, coupon code SGT will save you 10%. $75 or more in product will get you free shipping. The links are below. And I want to thank each and every one for tuning in. Thanks so much for supporting us, even when our 3 sites went down for about 48 plus hours. They're back up and running now. And of course, every single day for free. Check us out to get the real news 24/7 at sgtreport.com. And you can find me on Rumble and BitChute as well. And until next time, may God the Creator continue to bless you and yours. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.
I fully believe that this is a push for our own future digital enslavement.
We got another small town out there being blindsided by a big tech data center, and the local residents are told to just sit down, shut up, and accept it. In Conway, Arkansas, they're planning a 336-acre data center. It's going to be over 300,000 square feet. It's going to cost over $1 billion. And here's the kicker. The developer is Forge Lot Ventures, but they are acting on behalf of a secret Fortune 100 company. Think about this. The local residents are being told they are not allowed to know who's actually running this, who owns it, who's in charge of it. Just accept it.